Yeah, why don't you tell me what happened?
Look, I don't know. It's just kind of weird.
Well, weird is what we do.
Okay.
Just tell me what happened. Please, I won't judge.
All right. So you've got to understand my job, okay? I work for Thames Water, mainly pipes and stuff. Like, I mean, I'm a qualified engineer, but mostly it's just manual stuff like digging and replacing pipe. Sometimes I've got to, there are actual sewers involved. It's not really where I saw myself ending up, Yeah, but who does? We don't all get to build Formula 1 engines. Anyway, look, it's fine. I actually get paid quite a bit more than the rest of the crew because, if there's something that goes wrong or needs an engineer, here I am. Sorry. The point is, I do some work underground. Did some work underground. Look, I know this doesn't have anything to do with just... About 5 years ago, we were doing some work under Kentish Town. It was pretty nasty. Do you know what a fatberg is? No, don't worry, don't look it up. Seriously, don't. It was a bad job. I had to spend a while down there, and now I don't know if there's something with us and the work we were doing, or maybe just the brickwork wasn't right anymore. Maybe it was rotten or unstable, or the place kind of collapsed on me. Just one moment I'm stood there, torch in hand, and the next I've got a shooting pain all up my arm, and I can feel God knows how much rubble on top of me, and it's absolutely pitch dark. I mean, yeah, I don't need to tell you. Look, I've never been so scared. It was like the world went away. Must have been a full 5 seconds. I thought I was dead. Excuse me.
It's all right. Just take your time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how long I was down there. Well, I do. It was 3 hours, they told me, after. But it felt like... God, it felt like it could have been weeks. I've never had a great sense of time, and just gone. Everything. Every bit of light or sound or anything that changed, that said time was passing. There was nothing. Before that, I never really thought about time, But now... Yeah. But I was lying there, panicking, screaming, just trying to make any noise, any movement that didn't hurt like hell. And I felt something. No, I felt someone grab my ankle. At first it was great. I had this huge wave of relief, right? Someone had found me. They were getting me out. But no, it didn't feel right. It wasn't... It was cold, right? Like old stone or wet sand. It felt like rough and like the fingers weren't... I know, it felt like they weren't in the right places. And then I started thinking, and I realised something. The way it was grabbing me, holding my leg, it had to have been coming upwards from below me. And there was no one else down there when that tunnel collapsed. Absolutely no one, I'm sure. So then I start screaming again. And kicking, thrashing about. It hurts, but I'm scared out of my mind, but the hand, it just grips tighter, and I can feel its fingernails just... It started pulling. It was pulling down, dragging me down into the earth. And I don't know, just this close to just breaking, just absolutely shattering, and then a slab of stone came away in front of me, and there was daylight, and Abby, one of the work crew, was staring at me, and yeah, just like that, it was gone. But the bruise stuck around. Horrid, muddy bruises where the fingers had grabbed me. So, it took a long time to get over that. I mean, that's not weird, right? I mean, it was a bad time. You know, it stays with you. It was signed off, I think about 6 months with the injuries. I had pretty bad nightmares, claustrophobia. I mean, obviously, right? But I did my physio. Talked with the counsellor they gave me. Look, I did everything I was supposed to, and yeah, I guess I was fine. Once the bruises were gone, well, it's easy to blame memory, right? Hallucination, coincidence, all the classic shite you tell yourself. Life went back to normal. I was fine. Until about 2 weeks ago.
And that was when you met one of our employees?
That's when he showed up. You know the coffee shop just next to Pimlico? The nice one. Well, I actually had a date there. Cute guy, met online. She's sporty, which I kind of like. Look, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I get a latte and sit down waiting for Grant? I want to say Grant. Or Gareth? Gary? Anyway, look, he's running late and I'm just reading. And there's this creep in the corner. Like, your guy. He just keeps staring at me like properly staring. Like, it is super intense. And real weird. Like, he knows me, but I sure as hell do not know him. I try to ignore him. Look, I just read my book, and every time I look up, there he is, watching me. I'm about to say something, like when in comes Gary, Gareth, Gavin, and suddenly, hey, it's a date. And I really didn't want his first impression of me to be, me yelling at some creeper in the corner, so I just swapped chairs so that I've got my back to your colleague and get on with it. Didn't really matter, in the end, Gareth was a bust. Not like, I mean, he was fine, I guess, but there's just nothing really there between us, just a nice boring coffee with a kind of dull man. Took about an hour, and he clearly wasn't feeling it either, so we just called it. I mean, I think we actually shook hands when he left, which, tells you something, right? So, look, I'm packing up, all done, and I just sort of turn, just to check if he's still there, and he is standing right behind me, like a few inches from my face. Look, it's messed up. And I start to ask him, what the hell, man, but he just starts talking. Slowly, but real intense. He says he works here at the Madness Institute. And I say, what even is that? And he says, he wants my story. He says he needs to hear what happened to me. And I want to tell him to go away. I want to kick him and run. But I sit down. And I started to tell him everything. About the job, about the collapse, about the hand. More than I told you even, and as I do, it's like I'm there again. Like I can feel it grab my ankle, that cold, dead hand, and I just can't stop talking. Like, I cannot shut up.
Are you alright?
No, I'm not. Of course I'm not. It felt like I was throwing up all those feelings again, and I wanted to scream, but instead I just sat and calmly told him my life story, and he just watched me. His eyes were drinking in every fragment of my misery. I can't. And then it was over. And he looked at me like he'd just eaten like a perfectly cooked steak. You know what he said? He said, "Thank you. Thank you." Just like that. Like reliving the worst parts of my whole life were just a bit of a favour that I'd done him. And then he left, and I just sat there and cried for a while. That wasn't the end.
You've seen him since?
No, not. You kinda. I feel like I do. I've been dreaming of that tunnel again. Nightmares. Oh God, awful nightmares. Nightmares where the hand keeps pulling and I go deeper and deeper and deeper into... It takes me places I do not want to go. And he's there the whole time, just watching me. Watching me scream and thrash, and he is all eyes. He is all eyes. Look, I know that's not... that is my brain. I'm not blaming him for being in my dreams. You know, I guess I can't. That's absurd, right? It's not... But I feel like I'm seeing him when I'm awake as well. I've been having a lot of problems since he talked to me, since I talked to him, since I told my story. The claustrophobia is back, you know, worse than it ever was, and I can't do my job. I have these screaming panic attacks every time I try, and what am I supposed to do? Like, it feels like every time I'm even slightly underground, I can't even go into a shop basement anymore without feeling that hand. Every time I do, every time I get that panic just rising up my throat, I see him. He's there. Not when I look properly, but just at the edge. A corner of my eye. And he's gone. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe I met him once in a coffee shop and he was a creep and it messed me up. But that's enough. Right? That is enough. So I want to put in a complaint, like a proper complaint. I don't want to go to the police. I mean, I doubt they wouldn't even, let me get this far now, would they? But, sorry. So, thanks, I guess,